Glenn Clark Radio, talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants. So, Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Yeah, and so good morning, live day 2 from Stadium Swim at the Circa in downtown Las Vegas. It is Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn Clark. Griffin is back at Stadium Studio in lovely Towson, Maryland. My buddy Aaron Oster, assistant to the regional manager. I believe that's what we did. That was what we determined, right? Correct?
Yeah, that's about right.
From out here at Circa is hanging out with us again today. We got a lot to do on the program today. We will discuss a fun night for the Baltimore Orioles and a lot of the what could have been feelings with finally having all of the young core on the field together again and producing and scoring runs. But before we do that, we need to talk about butts. That's the way that it's going to go. That's the important part. Because, Aaron, I was making the rounds yesterday here at the Circa.
Great place to make rounds.
I was enjoying myself. I spent a little bit of time in the sports book. I did not know the famous, it was a billboard, correct? That existed in Vegas for years. The butts bill was.
There were billboards there, a lot of moving billboards. It was a tourist attraction. It was the Crazy Girls. It was the Crazy Girls review. Was
okay.
The garage, and they made a statue.
There is on the first floor of the Circa. And Griffin, I posted it on both Facebook and Twitter. If you can find it and pull it up.
Got it.
For everybody. I did not know. I was just trying to find a bathroom as I was making the rounds here at the Circa yesterday, and I run smack dab into this beautiful sculpture of six young ladies and their butts. And you were telling me that there's a tradition that perhaps, like today, if I'm going to spend a little bit more time in the sports book, or if I'm going to maybe consider playing poker or blackjack, that maybe would be beneficial to me before I start playing here at the Circa.
Absolutely. If you notice, you look at that picture that you put up, the butts are a little shinier than the rest of the statue.
I did notice that.
Yeah,
there you go.
Right there.
This is interesting.
The tradition is you go up, you rub the butts for.
Oh, it's 7 actually. It's 7 young ladies. Wow, look at that.
You are correct. We actually had a lot of them out. So we acquired this piece about a month ago.
Okay.
It had been in storage for a while. When the Mirage closed, it went over to. Once they went over to Planet Hollywood for about a year,
okay.
And then COVID went into storage and kind of lost track of it. About a month ago, we acquired this piece. We had many of the showgirls out here to
oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool.
Some of the ones who are actually
in the picture. Oh, that's dope.
Statue, yeah.
That's really dope. So I didn't tell you this when we were talking about it last night, but I have very emotional connection because a trip to Las Vegas when I was in my early 20s inspired. This is before the era of send nudes, right? Like this is when the infancy of even having the ability to take and send pictures.
Sure.
But a trip to Las Vegas with some friends, I was mesmerized by. And I talked about how like growing up, the first time I had ever seen this, it was like electric sex. It was Ralphie with the leg lamp, right? Like it was my introduction to sex. And I was talking about this with a girl that was on the trip that was a friend of mine. And this young lady, who I was not dating, recreated this picture with some of her college friends and sent it to me. And it wasn't 7, I'll give you that. It was like 3 or 4. But it was the most exciting, this, again, in the era before you could get nudes, before...
So you're saying this statue is an important part of...
This is an important, like, you have no idea how excited I was to see this sculpture here at the Circa. Like
we needed you here at the unveiling.
I really, in hindsight,
goodness.
in fact, I don't want to give a, you know what? Nope, I'm not going to say what I was about to say. The young lady saw that I had posted the picture, and you know, I say young lady, she's my age, obviously. She got a kick out of the fact that like we shared a back and forth today about the fact that I saw this sculpture out here. That's how meaningful this moment was in my life.
I'm putting this quote into the press kit, by the way.
Aaron, I'm telling you, if you need me to make a testimonial video about the butts, I am willing to make a testimonial video.
We might need to make a tourism video later.
I am willing to do it, man, because it is a part of my life. Like, it is a legitimate, significant part of my life. And the happiest I think I don't know. I mean, the birth of my kids, maybe, like, but it's hard to think of a time that I've ever been happier than when I opened my email and I saw a picture of my friend and her 3 friends recreating this legendary photo. Like, it's the greatest thing that I've ever seen in my life.
AOL or Hotmail? That's the question.
It was a Hotmail. I could probably recant like a lot of, and it was I didn't even know this was an option. Like, I had never considered the fact that you could send pictures like this, but she sure did. I'm sure, for what it's worth, I might not have been the only one who received this photo.
But you inspired it.
I inspired it, and it was meaningful to me. It changed my life. And Griffin will never understand this. He's in his Rouge Room era, as we discovered yesterday. Griffin would fit right in there. And so Griffin, like, all he knows is, like, since he was 6, I'm pretty sure they've been trading nudes. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the way that it works with kids these days. It's very dangerous. You've got a teenage daughter. My God, right? Like, I don't want to know what's going on in that world. I did not have that experience growing up. There was no option for that. Like, you weren't going to pull out a Polaroid camera and like hope it just didn't work that way. So, game changer for me.
Game changer. Look, that's what happens in Vegas. You make these memories.
Exactly right.
You can always come back and find things that connect.
You were telling me that, like, the CEO of the Circa, that was sort of like the point of why the butts exist. Is like he loves Vegas. He loves the history of Vegas.
As he said, we had this press conference. He did a little speech, and he said, "I have had so many great weekends to start with." Going over, they would land, they would drop their bags off in their room. And this was before he was even, owned anything or something. But, he would come out, a big fight weekend or March Madness or whatever, come out, drop his bags off at the room. The group would go, rub the butts, and then go off on their way. Awesome. Because that means it's going to be a good weekend.
That is awesome.
So did you rub the butts yet then, Clint?
I did not, because I didn't know it was a thing.
Oh, okay.
So I have not rubbed the butts yet. But 100% today, because we're gonna later on in the night we're hanging out at the Legacy Club.
Yes,
correct. That's there at the top floor of the Circa. Ooh. So we're gonna go hang out at the Legacy Club, and so I will do some form of gambling today. Whoa. And so I will make sure that I rub the butts before I do whatever form of gambling I'm going to do today.
So I think a lot of people back in Baltimore would appreciate if you ran down in between segments and did it before the Orioles game started.
That is a good point. The Orioles game does start at 12. What time are we talking to Brian Baldinger today?
It's
probably about the same time. If we time it out right, that we talked to Brian Baldinger at 12:30, it would give me 5 minutes. Spoiler alert: we pre-recorded with Brian Baldinger today. It would give me 5 minutes.
I'll tell him. I tell him when. That's what.
Right. Oh yeah, Griffin's like, I can move. That's a great bit that we do. Whenever, like, we have like a major guest, but we pre-recorded with them.
Like Jim Nance is. Let me tell Jim Nance.
Like, sorry, Jim Nance is gonna. We need to get Jeff Zrebeck on the show. Jim Nance is gonna have to understand. We're gonna have to back him up about 12 minutes. Like, we do that bit all the time. All right. Remind everybody about Circa Survivor.
Circa Survivor, Circa Million, 2 biggest football contests in the country. Survivor, your classic Survivor pool. Circa Million, pick 5 games against the spread every week. A total $21 million in guaranteed prizes. And then let me tell you, especially for Survivor, we're going over that number this year. $1,000 entry fees. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
Griffin, how's it been going for you putting together our syndicate?
It's going the negative way, actually. I've lost money.
So what? Since, you had somebody commit to being a part of our syndicate and then back out?
Yeah. So I've lost money now. So
that's not great. That's not
good. For Grandissimo or for one of the other?
We were working on Grandissimo.
Yeah, that might be a little too ambitious. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we might come up a little bit short on Grandissimo.
Entries in Grandissimo.
I kept saying we can be the 10th. That gets us to a cold $1 million already put in at that point. But so far, we're struggling. We're struggling to clean up in Grandissimo. We might just have to settle for Survivor. That might be the way.
There's got to be someone watching or listening right now with 100,000 laying around.
You know, it's really funny. I did have someone reach out to me yesterday who wanted me to put in for their Survivor.
Okay.
And I said, that's fine, but we're gonna have to do this quickly. There's a lot of moving parts between you Venmoing me getting the cash from Venmo. We gotta get on it. And he hasn't sent me the money yet, so I'm not going to say names.
You can. Unlike with most things in Vegas, you can pay with credit card for
you can
Survivor. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well then, hopefully I had a bit of a credit card incident over the weekend. They didn't believe that I was spending money in Las Vegas, and so I had to call the bank and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm here. It's me." And then they said, "Okay, no problem. It'll be fixed within 24 hours." I said, "Wait, why isn't it fixed right now? What am I?"
Probably also confused that you were actually buying alcohol.
Oh, yeah, we haven't talked about that yet.
Glenn's
I have consumed alcohol.
Congrats.
I have consumed, Griffin, in fact, multiple alcohols.
Wow.
Since I've arrived in Las Vegas.
Oh,
I have not gotten effed up. Let's not go that far. But I have consumed. Aaron handed me a shot.
Let's go.
Griffin, what's your go-to you're in your Rouge Room era.
Yeah.
We're at the Rouge Room. What's your go-to when you're out with people your age and somebody says, "Let's get shots"?
Oh, shots.
Give me 2 or 3. What would the options be?
Well, green tea shot is simple.
Everybody's doing green tea shots.
Green tea shot.
That's the thing.
That's my go-to.
Yeah.
Especially if Kelly's out.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What about
maybe tequila or something? That would be
just a tequila shot?
Yeah,
okay.
just a tequila shot.
Sure.
Simple.
If you want people to start puking quicker, yeah. Did you say buttery nipple?
No, that's not what I said. I said keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
Straight tequila.
What did we have the other night?
Spark plug.
Spark plug. Are you familiar with spark plug?
I don't think I am. Maybe I should.
A spark plug apparently is just a shot version of an espresso martini, correct?
Yeah.
Oh.
I had never had the pleasure. Apparently, it's very popular now with the young people, correct?
Well, espresso martinis popular back on the East Coast.
Yes, very popular. Espresso martinis are very popular.
There was a stretch where it was big here in Vegas. I would go home and no one had heard of it.
Okay.
So it's made its way. So yeah, it's just a shot of espresso martini basically.
It was the first shot that I had in since the last time we did the drinking show, and I don't remember when that was. It was the first shot I had in some time. So yeah, I had a moment on Saturday night where I was like, wow, I haven't drank that much, but I'm good. I am all right. That's the way that this week has gone. All right, buddy. Looking forward to rubbing the butts a little bit later on.
Absolutely.
That's going to be a good time. Thank you for stopping by, as always. Remind everyone. They have to be here to sign up for Circa.
Yes. Come out, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be Circa itself. We have 5 different sportsbooks around Vegas and one up outside of Reno, out in Sparks, Nevada.
Okay.
So if you're watching from Northern California and that's easier to get to, head out to
Like our buddy Ben in San Francisco, who regularly checks in. Ben, go to Reno, get in on Circa Survivor. Appreciate you. That's Aaron Oster. That's our buddy.
Thanks, Aaron.
Hopefully we're going to have I really do want to talk more about the Emmanuel Classe thing today. So hopefully at some point later on we'll have another one of our friends from here at the Circa to talk about it. All right, today's show brought to you by the print issue of Press Box, which is still available right now for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. Carmelo Anthony's on the cover. Great story detailing the path for Baltimore's first ever basketball Hall of Famer and how Baltimore shaped his legendary career. It's also our travel issue. It's only available for 2 more weeks, so go pick it up today. That print issue of Press Box. Now available, and you can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Coming up, I don't know, Griffin, if times have changed, you got to let me know. If not, we'll just stick with...
I think we're going to stick with...
So, Gabe Lacques from USA Today is going to join us. We'll talk a little bit more about the deadline week for the Orioles and what's going to happen. He wrote a little bit about Charlie Morton and how things got to this point for the Orioles. A little bit after that, our buddy Tim Barbalace from 105.7 The Fan will be checking in. And we will also be joined this morning, as I mentioned, by Brian Baldinger from NFL Network, who was out at Ravens training camp in Owings Mills. So all of that coming up on the program today. Griffin, by the way, did you send out a tweet that said what was coming up on the show?
I did, yes.
Thank you. I do not.
Yes.
This is the problem with using the computer to broadcast.
You don't want to try to do other things. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I also have to hold a mic because of how we're
Yeah,
doing things. It makes it difficult. It makes it difficult. All right, it was not difficult for the Orioles last night as they score 11 runs. And I don't know, do you have the board prepared?
Oh shoot, no, I don't actually.
Dynamite stuff, pal.
Well,
Dynamite stuff.
Trying to do other things, but yeah, Cedric Mullins will be.
I'll
our next break, I'll be able to.
It's not quite the same because I'm talking about it now.
I know.
I'm sure you understand.
In the middle of the break, people can watch as I adjust the board, and I'll switch
something like that. Cedric Mullins, the 4th time this season, 2nd place on the team, man of the match, and there were lots of candidates yesterday. Obviously, it easily could have been Kobe Mayo.
We'll talk to Gabe Lacques in 5 minutes. That sound good?
Oh, great. We'll do that. Wonderful. So it easily could have been Kobe Mayo, his first 3-hit game, and you continue to be encouraged by what happens when Kobe Mayo, plays. Like, it seems to be a good thing now.
Why would we do that?
Right. And again, as we keep saying, we know that almost certainly that there will be at-bats coming because Ryan O'Hearn is probably in his final couple of days as a Baltimore Oriole. But there were lots of candidates. Cedric Mullins between, obviously a good game at the plate, with the 2-run homer, and it was on base 3 times. Then you add in the phenomenal catch that was more than enough, not just for emotional reasons, but for practical reasons, for Cedric Mullins to be man of the match yesterday. A lot made. You've seen a lot of think pieces, a lot of discussion about, hey, this is what the Orioles could have been. And that thought process to me is a little bit dangerous because, in a way, I agree. This is what the Orioles could have been. The pitching still wasn't very good, right? Like, that was their number 1 starter coming into the season. Even if, one of the things we said is, hey, if the Orioles were producing offensively and all of the young core players were playing well and it just happened to be they didn't have enough pitching, that would be less disheartening moving towards next year. And so I think that sentiment becomes relevant if you continue to see it. Because you can't say, hey, if Adley Rutschman had just stayed healthy, well, Adley Rutschman was healthy for the first couple of months of the season and didn't do anything. It's too simplistic to say this is what the Orioles could have been. If you said this is what we hope the Orioles were going to be, I think that's a different conversation altogether. Because that's the world where all of these guys are on the field and they're all progressing the way that you expected them to progress coming into the year. Even last night, Colton Cowser got in on the act. If that's the point being, we wanted this to be the story of the Orioles offensively, then yeah, right? Other than Jackson Holliday, who was the only guy in that group that had a kind of a woeful night last night. This could have been offensively the story of the Orioles, but it would still be problematic because the pitching still isn't very good. And Zach Eflin got his brains beat in, and they had to use a lot of bullpen when they have a doubleheader on tap today. And so you're asking a lot of Charlie Morton in game number 1, and then you're turning to Brandon Young in game number 2. So,
he's due. He's due.
What?
Brandon Young's due.
He's due. This is going to be the one? I hope so. They could really use it because they are going to be beat up bullpen-wise. And presumably, it'd be really funny if somebody today called about Sir Anthony Dominguez and they were like, yeah, we'll get to you tomorrow. Tomorrow, we can have that conversation. Look, man, there's something to be said for, what is it? This was the 6th game that all 5 guys had played together all season.
Yeah, I believe that is correct.
And so I understand the frustration of we haven't been able to see all of them together, but to pretend like they've all been the best versions of themselves and that we could have expected that this was what it would have looked like, that's the danger to me in just dismissing all the struggles of the Orioles as being injury.
Well, but yes, that's true, the injury. But when you have Gunnar Henderson consistently batting behind Jordan Westburg and Jordan Westburg consistently batting behind Jackson Holliday, I think that changes the way that other teams can pitch against the Orioles when you are only worrying about Westburg and Henderson or Westburg and Holliday at any given time.
There's something. I don't think there's nothing to be said for that, right? But I don't think that's the story of why Colton Cowser has struggled.
Fair.
And considering Adley Rutschman's struggles went back to last year when those guys were in the lineup, I don't think it's the story of Adley Rutschman's struggles either. And it's a complicated conversation because I don't know what the story has been. And the real story moving forward is, how do we feel about these guys at the end of the year? Because if over the course of the next 2 months, these guys are all producing, then we're going to get to the end of the year and we're going to have greater belief that the Orioles could be a couple of marquee moves away from having a chance again next year. But they've got to do that. And that's what makes the next couple of months. It's not going to be for competition reasons, almost certainly. It's not. But is there something interesting, something worth watching about the next 2 months of the season? Yeah, it's, do you get what you got from that core group of guys moving forward? Because if you do, we're having a completely different conversation at that point. Orioles take game 1 of this 4-game set with the Blue Jays. They will play a doubleheader today. And these afternoon games during trade week in particular are always really interesting because of the potential for an awkward scenario where someone gets traded during the game. It's not like it never happens at night, but it feels like for some reason it's always more likely to happen during the day. I guess just because that's when business gets done. So it always presents, like, you're hearing a lot of rumors about Ryan O'Hearn and the Brewers, for example, today. Like, is that something that occurs where you're having somebody say goodbyes in the dugout in the middle of a game today? Which is possible. Like, that's the reality of the circumstances and where the Orioles find themselves. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the Orioles and where they find themselves. This man wrote about Charlie Morton, who we'll see today, and kind of what went wrong for the Orioles. He, of course, covers Major League Baseball for USA Today. He's our friend Gabe Lacques, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Gabe, it's Glenn. Well, I normally say in Baltimore. I'm actually live in Las Vegas this week. It's great to chat with you as always, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
I imagine Vegas is probably breezy compared to Baltimore right now.
Yeah, breezy. Stop that. It is funny, though, Gabe. I got in an Uber the other day, and I think it was 102 degrees here. And my Uber driver said, you picked the right time to come because at least it's not too hot.
Well, this is the year I've gotten into Dew Point. I've been watching Dew Point like
hang
a
on.
hawk. And,
how to explain how Dew Point works? Like, what am I looking for in a Dew Point?
Yeah, I don't exactly know how it works, but it's kind of hand in hand with humidity. And if the dew point is 75 or higher, that's when you know you're just absolutely cooked. So
good.
Keep that in mind, 75.
Griffin, what's the dew point today in Baltimore?
Let's see what our dew point is.
We do a bit here, Gabe, where Griffin, whenever asked about the weather, just looks. All he does is look out the window.
Probably not too bad right now.
And he says, "I don't know. It looks okay." That's the
not saying 90.
It's 74. 74.
Right, 74. Oh, you're good.
So,
okay, good. Yeah, it's a perfect day for an afternoon baseball game.
Yeah, so that's bad. But anyway, yeah, it'll only get worse, I'm sure. It's still the morning, technically.
Gabe, it's funny because after the Orioles score 11 runs last night, it was only the 6th game they played with this group of guys all together, Adley and Gunnar and Jordan and Jackson and Colton Cowser. There was a lot made about, like, this is what could have been for the Orioles and what should have been. And to some extent, I understand the thought process. But I worry, and maybe even more because when we've heard from Mike Elias this season, the little bit that we've heard from David Rubenstein and Cal Ripken, who's part of the ownership group, it seems like every time they talk about the struggles of the team, they harp on the injuries. And I do think that the injuries are a part of the story. But I don't know that they're the entirety. I don't even know that it's like 50-50 that the injuries are a part of the story. I don't think that injuries explain why Adley Rutschman, who was healthy for a while, was very bad. Like, I'm really struggling with the danger that perhaps they think internally this is all just bad luck, and if they run it back kind of similarly next year, the results will definitely be different. And I'm not sure how confident I am in that.
Yeah, well, I think there's a certain pragmatism involved where, from David Rubenstein to Mike Elias on down, that, mistakes were made, that it obviously wasn't a perfectly constructed team. and that you were relying a little too much on guys that were solid maybes. A guy like Tyler O'Neill, coming off a great year, looked to be a perfect fit, moved in the fences and right, all that kind of stuff, but had an injury history, and he got injured.
Right.
And then you look at the pitching, and okay, well, we're going to get Wells back, we're going to get Bradish back. We're going to, bring in Charlie Morton. Grayson Rodriguez should be coming into his own. I mean, could they have foreseen that Grayson Rodriguez, at this point, he's now a guy with, a pretty solid injury history. Not to say that it's injury prone per se, and we'll hopefully soon find out what totally is going on there with some more, tests and all that kind of stuff. But the foundation they assembled was a little too creaky. And then you get into the sequencing of things. And, for Charlie Morton to be as bad as he was in his first half dozen starts, you combine that with Dean Kramer, kind of with his typical slow start, and then he's kind of become, normal Dean Kramer. Grayson Rodriguez's injuries, and then suddenly the position players drop more or less like flies for a while. That's a tough thing to battle. So it's that's not necessarily we were injured, just more so a string of unfortunate and very ill-timed events. And then you look up and you're pretty much out of it, and the odds are very much stacked against you. The division isn't great, but it's still pretty good. The American League is deep enough to where you look up and you go, wow, well that's pretty much it. These years happen, and the one thing I want to stress to Orioles fans is to look at the team that they're playing this week. It was this time a year ago that the Blue Jays were trading Yusei Kikuchi and Kevin Kiermaier and a few other parts that weren't bolted down. And 1 year later, guys are playing to their expectations. George Springer, healthy and productive. Bo Bichette, healthy and productive on a remarkable heater right now. Vladdy, really, really hot since the All-Star break. So it's just things just aren't linear in baseball unless you're very fortunate. And so I know it feels like a step back kind of year, and sometimes not to say you need those, but sometimes they happen, which isn't to say that, Gunnar Henderson and Jordan Westburg and Jackson Holliday and Adley Rutschman and several others aren't really good baseball players. They are, and that's still a really good core. So, you try again next year. You try to learn from this and try to fortify positions that kind of went awry this last winter.
Gabe, that try again next year concept, I think, becomes really relevant here because in the context of what they're going to do this week, and obviously we now know they're not going to be trading Felix Bautista no matter what, and that's, they get more bad news there yesterday. There's no way that a team is now going to make that move. But there's been a lot of conversation about, Trevor Rogers and Dean Kramer and guys, because the guys they're trading don't really have a ton of value, right? Like Charlie Morton, because of his experience, may have some value, might be able to get something there, but, Ryan O'Hearn's a positionless bat, and Sir Anthony Dominguez is kind of a meh reliever, right? Like they don't have a lot of true. Zach Eflin's been mostly bad when he's been healthy this season. Like, there's not a lot of value there in their pending free agents, but you could get serious, for Trevor Rogers, the way he's pitching right now, Dean Kramer with control. But the argument would be, well, you need those guys to compete next year, so you can't do that. So I guess this is like my big picture. Are they a year away from legitimately being able to contend? Like, are they going to do that? Are they going to do what's necessary to understand the mistakes they made and fix that in the offseason and be bolder with pitching? And they're going to have to rebuild their bullpen, obviously, going into next year. Or if they're not, should they be considering the possibility of trading pitching that could help them in order to bring back serious returns in the next couple of days?
So I think you kind of answered your question. There will be no serious returns for any of those guys. Not to say that you can't get good returns, not to say that you can't, roll it back to
I mean, for the guys
2020.
that aren't free agents, right? For Kramer and Rogers
right.
in particular.
Yeah. Even those guys. I think you're only going to get so much. I mean, you trade Trevor Rogers, you suddenly create a hole that you need to if you're confident, if you're Mike Elias and you're confident that this is the real Trevor Rogers, you trade him and you suddenly create another hole that you have to fill in the winter that may not be filled by a guy that will be better than what Trevor Rogers will be. There's no Herschel Walker trade out there for the Orioles. There's no Juan Soto trade. I guess that's a better analogy. So it's tricky, but at the same time, I think the guys they do have, the Mortons, the O'Hearns, you can certainly, let's run it back to 2022 and maybe get, Cade Povich, Chase McDermott types, if you will. Maybe guys, better than them. This has been their MO is don't draft pitching, sign short-term pitching, and then try to identify guys that you like in the middle minors, if you will, and see if there's any further magic that they can work with them. And for not very great assets, it was a pretty big win to get Povich to the big leagues. It's kind of a big league regular for McDermott to touch the big leagues. Maybe they can do a little better this time around since, a guy like O'Hearn, it's pretty wild when you look at the hitting available. We're, I say we as kind of the baseball industry and interested parties have turned, Eugenio Suarez into Babe Ruth. It's still Eugenio Suarez. So in this context, Ryan O'Hearn's a pretty good
I agree with it, but to me that's we're chatting with Gabe Lacques for USA Today. Gabe, that to me is why like the lack of pitching available really does make me think like, what could you get for a Dean Kramer? What could you get for a Trevor Rogers? And I'm not championing that, or I'm not campaigning for it, because I do think what they should be trying to do is load up and go try to win a World Series next year. It's just that like I'm recognizing I don't think that they're one step away from winning a World Series next year. And I'm trying to figure out if they hold on to Trevor Rogers, who has one more year of control, will they also be willing to spend what's necessary to get a top end of the rotation pitcher, which is completely – if Trevor Rogers is this, you can say he's that guy. I'm not sure that I'm ready to say that Trevor Rogers is definitively this. Are they ready to do that? Are they ready to spend on 3 to 4 leverage arms in the bullpen, which they're going to need? If they're ready to do all of that, then I think they should hold on to those pieces and try to win. But if they're not, I don't know, man. This might be your best bet to sell like Trevor Rogers when his value is higher than it could ever possibly be.
Right. Well, and it's I think, to answer your question, yes, they're kind of willing to do that.
Okay.
But then again, what does that look like, and how big are you willing to go within that, and how ridiculous will the market get? Are you willing to, take a run at Framber Valdez? Are you willing to, see about Justin Bieber? And then there's so many
probably not
marks.
Justin Bieber, but Shane Bieber maybe.
Yeah. Right. Oh my God. Thank you. Yeah, it's early. But like, both the trade and next year's free agent market have gotten worse. When you look at Dylan Cease and Zach Gallen, guys that maybe you were looking at, maybe they would be like 9-figure contract guys. What does Dylan Cease's market look like next winter? Now it's not. It's not as good as it was, but he's still represented by Scott Boras. He's still going to get a ton of money. If you're the Baltimore Orioles, do you want to necessarily, make that your big guess? Not, maybe not necessarily. So that will be a tough pivot because the market isn't great, and they don't want to be caught in the middle where, you're not giving Jordan Lyles, 1 year and $12 million or whatever, and you're not giving $300 million to a bona fide ace, to a Max Fried or whatever. You might be better off just flooding the zone. And I know nobody wants to hear that, but buying in the middle class and guessing correctly, and most importantly, covering yourself with depth, because after Charlie Morton, and because that they haven't invested heavily in pitching through the draft, the cupboard was relatively bare and the bottom kind of fell out. So I think the best strategy next winter will be tonnage, if you will. Get a lot of guys and cover yourself. And
We
Yeah,
talked a
go
lot
ahead.
about that this past offseason, right? The Nathan Eovaldi types, right? Like the guys that are,
Right.
in that middle, somewhere between Charlie Morton and Max Fried. It still feels like they
Right.
need
Yes.
they need a someone that you can rely on as a top of the rotation guy somehow, and that's to me the most difficult part about figuring this out. Is, to your point, could it be, this worked out for the Royals a couple years ago, that they bought Seth Lugo at a price that wasn't top of the rotation,
Yes.
and they got a top of the rotation pitcher. Can the Orioles do that? Perhaps. But it feels like they need to be
Right.
willing to invest in a legitimate, to your point, they don't draft them, they don't develop them. Grayson Rodriguez has not proven to be that guy. Maybe Kyle Bradish comes back and looks like, I don't know, but there's a lot of maybe there. It feels like that's the most
Right.
significant thing they need to do, is identify someone who is truly a viable top of the rotation pitcher moving forward.
Right. And yeah, it can be a fool's errand to to spend that top dollar, which isn't to say that, you know, I wouldn't have guessed that that Max Fried got what he got. I wouldn't have guessed that Corbin Burns was headed for Tommy John surgery, but so it's just, sometimes it's a toss of the coin. Sometimes you get Max Fried all-star, sometimes you get Corbin Burns on the shelf, and suddenly you're 5 games below 500 like Arizona is. But just to kind of put a bow on the like Trevor Rogers as franchise defining asset. I did a kind of an analysis of last year's trade deadline in the 83 prospects that were moved the last week, and this isn't good. Your Orioles fans aren't going to like this, but the one big league regular who emerged out of that was Kyle Stowers, all-star. But you look at the other 82 guys, only 2 guys cracked the top 5 of their organization's top 30. There's nobody in the top 100 of overall prospects, and there's 17 others that are currently in an organizational top 30. There's also a couple of platoon bats in there. You got Will Wagner and Loper Fido of the Blue Jays. That was their return for Kikuchi, which was nice. It's helping them this year. But the days of the roster changing, franchise defining deadline deal are just about over. The Juan Soto deal is an aberration because he was 25 years old at the time and a generational hitter. So, it's just a matter of, you have to kind of recalibrate your expectations and not assume you're going to remake the franchise simply by flipping guys.
That's the reality of the trades that they are likely to be making this week. All right, Gabe, after watching that game last night, how convinced are you that we get closer to maybe like full ABS? We're not even doing the challenge system. My God, what the hell was going on last night?
That's a good question. He had a rough night. It was hot out, Although I will tell you this, there was speaking of the heat, there was a game, it was so hot a few weeks ago here at Camden Yards that StatCast wasn't working. The computers broke down.
Oh, so they wouldn't have
so I don't know if that's
Yeah,
it was. That was for at least just a couple innings. I don't know if that's that's a thing going forward, but yeah, I think full is still a ways away. I think there's enough trepidation on both sides. Perhaps it depends on how much how ugly the labor war gets, and if it gets that ugly and MLB is in kind of a screw you mode, maybe they'll try to jam the full ABS through, but. I don't think they're necessarily confident in it either, and I think there's a certain aesthetics that I not to totally say be careful what you wish for, because I know everybody loves optimization, but the day a catcher sets up on the outside corner and a pitcher yanks it, and the catcher has to dive all the way across the strike zone to reel it in, and it nicks the upper corner of the inside corner by accident. I think that is going to be a kind of an aesthetic displeasure for fans and players. Now it'll get a lot of calls right, but again, I do check out the umpire scorecards. So many of these guys are hitting at 94, 96% a night. I'm a mild defender of the analog era, and so I think the challenge system, if we're looking at this pragmatically, is a pretty good way to dip a toe in the water and see how it works and see how it, you're talking about fans, umpires, players, and the guys in the dugout. does it work for all parties involved? And if that goes smoothly and it looks like a pretty good system, then maybe we edge a little bit closer. But I would say full ADS may not be for at least a couple more years down the road. So sometimes you just gotta, as they say, you gotta wear it a little bit.
At Gabe Lacques, LACQUES on Twitter is how you follow him. USA Today, usatoday.com is where you read his stuff. Gabe, stay cool as much as possible. Appreciate you as always. Let's talk again real soon, all right?
Hydrate or dihydrate, as the kids say.
Man, that's no joke. Thank you, buddy. Gabe Lacques
with
us here on GCR. Appreciate him taking the time for us. And I am, I guess today before the game, we got a little bit more information about Grayson Rodriguez, and it continues to not be good. And they're going to have to be willing to spend on pitching if they're going to compete next year. And I think they should. This is a complicated conversation. After our conversation, I know we got to can we take a break? Do we have time, Griffin, to take a break?
We'll take a break. Yes.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Tim. I'll be with you in 1 second. But a lot of people were reacting to the conversation we had with Steve Johnson yesterday about Trevor Rogers, and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? The thing you need most is pitching in 2026. But my point is you need more pitching than just Trevor Rogers, even if you get this version of Trevor Rogers. Are you willing to do what's necessary in order to get it? Because if you're not, then you're kind of spinning wheels just doing this with Trevor Rogers next year and hoping for the best. If there's the commitment to go get the amount of pitching required, then by all means. But if there's not, then the best plan might be to try to move Trevor Rogers right now while his value is high. We'll talk about it with our buddy Tim Barbalace from 105.7 The Fan. That's next. Live from the Circa and Stadium Swim in downtown Las Vegas, it is Glenn Clark Radio.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantafalo's family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1970. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
This August, the PGA Tour's best are coming to Maryland. The 2025 BMW Championship tees off August 12th through 17th at Caves Valley Golf Club in Owings Mills. See the top 50 players battle it out in the penultimate event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Don't miss your chance to witness world-class golf, fan experiences, and unforgettable moments. Tickets are on sale now at BMWChampionship.com. The BMW Championship, where legends take the lead.
Summer just got a whole lot merrier at Live Casino. Win your share of $30,000 during Christmas in July. Earn entries starting July 1st. Dash in on Saturday, July 26th to be one of 50 winners to unwrap top-of-the-line electronics, home appliances, free play, and other great gifts. Go all in on good cheer at Live Casino at Erndale Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun, instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at baltimoregolfacademy.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
Yeah, that's Griffin. And he, by the way, Griffin, how offended should I be? I've now been in Las Vegas for 5 days, and Christian Wilkins hasn't attempted to kiss me once. What does that say about me?
I mean, I guess maybe he thinks maybe you're a bad teammate. Then I guess that would be.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, he doesn't respect you enough. He doesn't respect you enough as a.
What a bizarre story! What a bizarre story. Here, I don't think we can show the game, but I want you to look out because that's going to be my view. Oh, you can't really see it.
No,
can you see the screen out there?
Yeah.
That's they got the Orioles.
That'll be on the big screen.
On the big screen.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my day. After watching tennis all day yesterday, and then they have tennis down in the corner of the screen here at Stadium Swim. So I'm getting the Orioles and tennis. That's my day. That's today I might go ahead and spend the day in the pool. That might be the plan for this afternoon here at Stadium Swim. All right. Hey, Stan the Fan, Luke Jackson, Ross Grimsley normally get together on Mondays. This week they're going to do a trade deadline special on Thursday night. So make sure you're checking that out. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. And it's always brought to you by the Costas Inn and the brand new Costas Inn, now open at the Grandstand in Timonium. Is this guy, can we do video with him? Or Tim, turn your video on. We want to talk to you.
Here we go.
There we go. Hello.
I'm here.
I know that guy. That's Tim Barbalace. I think I know that studio that he's sitting in right now.
You do?
Over at 105.7 The Fan. Of course, Inside Access is what you know him from. Tim, sorry you're not out here with me. That view is just as nice as the view that I have.
I don't want to talk Orioles, Ravens. I want to talk about your trip, dude. So you saw the Backstreet Boys?
Yeah, sure as hell saw the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere, which was amazing.
Funny story. One of the first events that I did when I was working at the station, it was their Mistletoe Meltdown.
Okay.
It was Mix 106.5's Christmas concert, and it was right when the Backstreet Boys were coming back. So it was probably December 2013. So I am 18-year-old Tim Barbalace at that time, and I remember they were headlining. It was them, Sarah Bareilles, Avril Lavigne, Plain White Tees.
Okay.
And I was not driving the van with the Backstreet Boys. I was not at that level yet because I had just started. But I remember they were asking someone that I was working for cocaine. So that happened. Yeah.
I mean, we should probably use the word allegedly. We should probably say that.
Allegedly.
Yeah, we should probably say something like that. Tim. I think we should probably allegedly, very allegedly. I think we should put that qualifier in as much as we possibly can.
You're right.
I don't know how they do things over there at 105.7 The Fan. But I would prefer to not be sued today. So, dude, I couldn't have had it. The Sphere is amazing. This has been amazing. It's unbelievable. I keep saying this to people that I talk to. I legitimately had a moment where I was like, am I going to find out this is just wildly overhyped? Am I going to find out that this is that thing that, it's like everything else in Vegas. They want you to think it's cool, but then you actually get there, and then, you're at a place where they're going to charge you $600 for chicken tenders, and all you get to do is hear a DJ, and that. And it's not everything else in Vegas. Here at Stadium Swim, it's unbelievable. But then I got there and I experienced it, and it's somehow even more. You can't comprehend the sensory experience that you're having watching a concert. It's, truly unbelievable, man.
I need to make it out there. I need to make it out there in general because I've never been to Vegas.
You've never been to Vegas?
No, I've never been to Vegas.
Oh, I know. Man. Well,
I know.
Well, we can
cancels
blame
the next.
We blame the Ravens, just like the city.
All right.
No, that is dead serious. Because that was all planned in 2023. We were all set to go out there in Vegas, and that is one reason why I will never. Oh my God, I will never live that.
It's actually been really tough for. It's been tough for Griffin because he didn't get to make this trip. But if the Ravens had been in the Super Bowl, he would have been able to make that trip. And we would have been broadcasting that week from Stadium Swim here. We would have been doing all the same. I had a hookup for U2 tickets at the Sphere that week.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember that.
we had lots going on. And so now Griffin's from back at the studio watching me do all of these things that we would have been doing had the Ravens been in the Super Bowl. So, you know, tough times. But hey, he's
I'm not bitter.
Right. All right, let's get into a couple things. One, I keep talking about this, right, Tim, and I haven't been able to come up with the correct answer. I know inherently that what the Orioles should be doing is holding on to anyone that's not a pending free agent and loading up in the offseason and doing what's necessary. And my gut is that's at least one more bat, probably an outfield bat, that's 1 to 2 starters. I know Trevor Rogers has been great, but I still think it requires a legitimate top-of-the-rotation starter, and it's a lot of bullpen pieces. Like, it's probably 3 to 4 bullpen pieces in the offseason. That should be the game plan, and they should be going to try to win a World Series. And then it also has to require hoping for the best, that you get the right version of Adley Rutschman, you get a better version of Colton Cowser, you get the MVP version of Gunnar Henderson. All of those things come to play. I don't know how confident I am that that's what they are going to do versus them thinking this year was just more about bad luck, injury-wise, and that they might like try to make another stealth pitching move or two and then say, and we think we can win with that. Because I have this weird opinion that if that's what their plan is, then I think they'd be better off moving Trevor Rogers and Dean Kramer at the deadline and getting everything they can for 2 assets that probably have more trade value than actual value at the moment, and figuring out what their window is for whenever they might be willing to really go all in.
I just think that second part's a little tough because you're on the clock right now. Adley Rutschman, you got 2 more years of control.
But you were on the clock last offseason and didn't care.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. And that's why you have to hope that Mike Elias learns from that fact. You have to change your stripes. You have to go out and be aggressive. He was talking about, the organization was talking about Grayson Rodriguez becoming this ace. If I'm Mike Elias, I am operating this offseason as if Grayson Rodriguez does not throw a pitch for me in 2026.
Yep.
I do not want to get burned with that again. You need to, if he gives you something next year, that's fine, but you cannot count on Grayson Rodriguez. You hope that Kyle Bradish comes back in the last month and a half or so, that he'll be pitching in the bigs and shows something, but you know, he's still relatively fresh off Tommy John next year. And what does the innings limit look like there? You got Trevor Rogers, you got Dean Kramer, but you're right. You have to go out and take a big swing in free agency. And the free agent crop for starting pitchers is really good. So you're going to have options there. Bullpen, like you said, you're going to have to completely revamp that thing heading into next year. And yeah, you probably are going to have to add an outfielder, but it can't be hunting next year. At that point, what message does it send to the fan base? Because Gunnar Henderson's arbitration eligible next year. That's reality. And the rest of the guys beyond him, Westbergs and the Cowsers, and like they're coming. It is time. It is now where you have to be proactive this offseason. It cannot be the passive approach that was last year where you're trying to make these moves on the margins. You're trying to get cute.
I hear everything you're saying. I know you're right. Where's your confidence level? This is the problem that I'm having, Tim.
No, you're right.
The debate isn't about what should you be doing. I know exactly what you should be doing. The debate to me is about, is that what you're doing? Because I am very fearful that the plan is, when we have heard from Mike Elias, when we have heard from David Rubenstein, even from Cal Ripken this year, there's been a lot of talk about the injuries. And yes, the injuries have been a part, and everybody can say, hey, you saw what this team is capable of last night when they finally had all the guys together. To some extent, that's true, but they had Adley Rutschman for much of the season. And that wasn't the story. So I'm fearful that internally their belief is the story is really the injuries. And that they don't need to go very aggressive in the offseason. And if they're not, then whatever they should be doing, I don't know that it makes sense to just hold on to assets and not really have a chance to win a World Series next year either.
No, I definitely get that. And look, I think it's very much a huge question mark if Mike Elias is going to change his stripes and really operate in a much different fashion. But Glenn, I'm sure you're aware my fellow co-host is very loud about Mike Elias and what should be done.
Oh, you mean Ken? Yeah, Ken. I mean, Ken's been.
It's
I
Ken Vine.
think he's settled down a little bit.
In all seriousness, Mike Elias is on the clock. Do I think that he's going to get fired? No. But if things do not turn around next year, he will get fired. I firmly believe that at this point. You can't build up this infrastructure and have this farm system and have these young guys and not realize it, not go for it. But you're right. Will he act? We have yet to see, and look, if you want to count Tyler O'Neill because he is going to opt into next year, he hasn't given out multi-year contracts. He hasn't gone out and the injury thing is this, where you're 100% right. The offense and most of them have been, but everyone thought this starting pitching staff was a huge question mark with Grayson Rodriguez. Even if Grayson would have been healthy and hitting the post every single time, Charlie Morton crapped the bed. Sugano, he ran into a wall after being consistent at the beginning of the year. Like, all of that happened. Dean Kramer was horrible in April and then settled in. Like, all of that happened. We knew that going in, that this offseason they did not do enough for the starting rotation. And you can't afford to make that mistake again next year.
He is Tim Barbalace, 105.7 The Fan. He is with us here on GCR. I hope that's the case, right? Like, I hope that's I really do. And it needs to your point, it needs to be. But it needed to be last year. There's no excuse for the offseason that they had last year. And that's what gives me pause about all of this, is if nothing is really to say, well, it needs to be. It needed to be a year ago and it wasn't. So is it going to be different? And I just don't have that answer. I think they needed to hire a manager 2 months ago, Tim. I think that it has been the number of times, and we forget about it because they do things like go on a 3-game win streak and all of a sudden the vibes are good. But like watching the afternoon game last week where, and I don't remember if it was Stallings or Jackson's, throws down to second base and no one is covering the bag on a steal attempt. No one is standing there. And the number of times that we've seen that, it has felt dramatically like that's been a part of the problem this year, is no accountability, and you got a lame duck manager and an inexperienced coaching staff, and this is what you get because of it. And there's been no thought to maybe we go ahead and get a manager in place ahead of time. Maybe we try to get the clock started for 2026 by hiring Skip Schumacher, or I know everybody thinks he's going to be Bruce Bochy's replacement, but whoever, a veteran manager that would show up, that would offer cachet, that would be respected, and start fixing this stuff that we've seen this season to try to get the clock started for 2026.
Glenn, the defensive miscues are infuriating, but I think the poor base running is what gets me. How many outs does this team run into on a nightly basis, and sometimes multiple outs in an inning? And Jackson Holiday, for a guy as quick and fast as him, why is he not able to steal bases? Why does this team, and this has been like going back over a year or 2 years, why is this team that is so athletic not able to steal more bases? And it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating because it's bad enough to watch a bad team, but when you have these situations where you know that the starting staff's compromised, the bullpen's compromised, and the defense is booting the ball around, and you're running into outs, and like you're just adding to it, it's not good enough. And to the manager point, Brandon Hyde, it feels like an eternity ago that he's been fired. It's been over 2 months, 2.5 months, close to it, since he's been fired. I'm with you. If you would have told me at this point that Mansolino probably going to manage the rest of the season, I would have said, nah, no way. I definitely thought that they would have hired a manager at this point just to get ahead of things. You're right. Why wait till the offseason?
was very frustrating, man. Like, I don't think it's done any good. I don't know what good it could have done. And you can say, hey, you want to have the largest net that you can possibly cast for hiring a manager. That's fine, but at what cost in the process? You know what I mean? Like,
and I'll say this too, Glenn. That my initial reaction, and this is not on Tony Mansolino. I don't have anything against Tony Mansolino, but that first press conference that he did, because remember, he didn't meet pregame when Hyde was fired. His presser after that game where they got killed, where he was basically saying, "Look, man, I wasn't expected to be in this spot. Like maybe 10 years down the road, I would have been in this spot," and was kind of almost giving reasons why he shouldn't have been in that position. I'm like, oh, geez. And
yeah,
obviously he's gotten more comfortable in front of the media in a press conference setting since then. But the fact that they didn't have a Freddie Gonzalez, for example, to be there, it was kind of just, all right, man, here we go, man. So.
Yep, that's the reality. That is the reality. All right. Did I see that you were out at training camp yesterday?
I was, and I was sweating my butt off.
I have no doubt.
It was extremely hot. Ken's out there today, and thankfully it's even hotter for him, so he can feel my pain. But no, it was fun being out at one winning drive. It was the first day of pads. Definitely an active day. Carson Vincent, Adafe Owe, they exchanged pleasantries at one point, but nothing really escalated from that point. But tight ends were extremely active. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, they were huge standouts yesterday. Cooper Rush got off to a really rough start, got better as the day went on. Tez Walker, I was really interested in seeing him because there's been a lot of pub from him, OTAs, mini camp. He was pretty active as well, but I'm very curious today. Jair Alexander, is it a nothing to see here thing? The fact that he missed practice yesterday, had to get his knee drained. It was a little swollen. John Harbaugh afterwards made it seem like it was no big deal. Rashad Bateman didn't practice either due to illness. So we'll see if those guys are back on the field in about an hour.
Okay. I just need to this is my I think you know enough about me to know that I am not a training camp person. I am not a preseason person. What actually interests you beyond like I'm here, so I'm going to talk about what's happening here because that's I have to do that. What actually interests you? What is actually interesting about the Ravens between now and when the season begins?
It's funny, Glenn. I said last week on the show, this year, not even maybe, more so than any other year recently, it's a boring training camp, man. Like, you have the kicker battle.
That's more or less it.
Yeah, Luke missed 3 kicks yesterday. It was a rough afternoon. Missed a kick less than 40 yards. But there's no other position battles. It's largely the same team, besides the draft class and some free agent acquisitions. But they didn't lose many guys this offseason. Like, you know these guys. And of course, you're always looking for the young. Okay, what is Nate Wiggins in year 2? Is he going to take that leap? But it really is one of those situations like run out the clock, no one get hurt heading into week 1. Like going out there, yeah, you're looking for the kicking battle. I'm looking at the rookie class. I mentioned Tez Walker, Nate Wiggins in year 2, D-Hop, seeing him for the first time, but I'm with you, man. More so than you could probably say the Lamar Jackson era. This is a boring training camp. You're just kind of getting ready for the season.
No, because there's one question that faces this team. One.
Yeah.
And you can't get an answer to that for a very, very long time.
And here's the thing, Glenn. Even if Luke was perfect throughout this entire thing, what does it look like? Buffalo game, right? Like we have no idea. He's a rookie kicker, and
I am convinced that no matter what happens in the preseason, they're going to give him like short of the other guy. What Hoyland is that his name?
Hoyland.
Short of him, like banging 60-yard field goals and then just saying, "Oh my God, this might be a generational talent." I do think that no matter what happens in the preseason and training camp, they use a draft pick on this guy. They're going to give him a shot to be the kicker. I think
they will, but what I'm interested in, this isn't a situation where you play the Browns week 2, but 5 of their first 6 games are against teams that made the playoffs last year. 2 of the first 4 games are in Buffalo and in Arrowhead. So early on in the year, are we going to see John Harbaugh maybe be more aggressive in 4th down situations? If it's a 4th and 3 and it's a 48-yard field goal attempt, do you just go for it there and take your chances with Lamar Jackson and the offense? Because you look at the numbers, the Ravens went for it on 4th down last year towards the bottom of the league. So do we see an uptick, especially early on in the year? I think that'll be interesting to see.
I think the argument would be you've got Lamar Jackson. That's what you should be doing. Like that's what the analytic, the data says you should be doing anyway. I just think that they're in their mind, the kicker they're going to find on the scrap heap in week 6 is no different than the kicker that they're going to find right now. Like that's just the gut that I have. Like nothing, as much as they want to test this kid in training camp in the preseason, they're going to give him the shot for the first couple months of the season. It's Stephen Hauschka to me, they're going to give him that shot and assume that there's a Billy Cundiff-esque kicker that they can get then the same way that they could get him right now. That it's just that guy will be available then. They might be able to find something right now. And so that's my gut on how that plays out. All right, what's coming up on Inside Access today?
Well, Ken Wyman will be out at One Winning Drive. We'll get live hits with him. Obviously, talking about the Orioles doubleheader ongoing. Mike Bordick will be joining us at 3, and Buck Martinez. We'll talk some Blue Jays with him at 5.
Very good. At Tim Barbalace is how you follow him. Let's come out. Let's plan a Vegas trip, pal. We'll do it up. We'll make it happen. All right, buddy. Thank you.
Man.
Appreciate you.
Have fun the rest of your time there.
Thanks, dude. Tim Barbalace with us from Inside Access over on 105.7 The Fan. Appreciate him taking the time. Orioles game getting underway, game 1 of the doubleheader, and I did not get a chance to rub the butts. Does it work if I just rub my own butt?
No,
that
might have the opposite effect, I think.
Well, I did rub my butt, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. It is amazing. It's immaculate. Like, it's on this giant, it's filling up the screen. Like, they've actually taken things off the screen.
Good, as they should.
To
when
fill
the Orioles play, that's
exactly what they should do. I don't disagree with that.
Definitely has nothing to do with the fact that the Blue Jays are the best team in baseball. Definitely.
I actually I went into the sportsbook yesterday, and I joked about how disappointed I was that the team shell shot game was not on the giant. They have like this massive, and we talk about the 100-foot media wall they have at Sports and Social, Live Casino and Hotel. It's maybe even bigger here at the Circa. I saw Adam Jones on the screen this morning when I was walking into the sportsbook, and I was just sort of joking. Like, I know why they didn't have teams. Like, come on, man, they're not going to put. There was a bunch of baseball games going on. If you missed it,
the first quarter,
yeah, bummer is Team Shell Shock. It's eliminated from the basketball tournament, losing to the West Virginia team last night. But then I was going to do the bit when I was sitting in the sportsbook where I had my phone was going to be on the shell shot game, but like the Orioles game was only on like this small square of the screen. So I was like, I think I can give up on shell shock. I think I can move on from that. When we come back in, we are going to talk to Brian Baldinger of the NFL Network, who has also been out in Owings Mills the last couple of days. We'll do that next. It is a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio live from the Circa in Las Vegas.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantafalo's family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1975. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
Need a trophy or award that's as unique as the achievement? Look no further than Crown Trophy. With locations in Owings Mills and Gaithersburg, they specialize in custom trophies, plaques, and medals for any occasion. From sports and academic awards to employee recognition and corporate gifts, visit crowntrophy.com today and let them help you create a lasting memory for your school, team, or business. Crown Trophy is a proud supporter of the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. crowntrophy.com.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, we celebrate the first ever Baltimore basketball player to reach the Naismith Hall of Fame as we talk to those who knew Carmelo Anthony best about how his Baltimore upbringing shaped his legendary career. Also inside, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens second-round pick Mike Green and find our annual summer travel section with information on some of the best sporting events and activities in Maryland that your family can check out all summer long. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
Back out here at Stadium Swim in the Circa in downtown Las Vegas. It is a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Today's show is also brought to you by County Sports Zone. We are getting closer and closer to the start of high school football season. Everything you need to know, not just about football, but every sport, every team, all across the state. You can find it at countysports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. It's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, so what happened? Was there something last night that you were particularly?
No, this is just the weekend still. Like the weekend, I went.
Well, actually, sounded okay yesterday morning, I thought, and then.
Yeah, but I don't get I don't get a break. I did a show, you know what I mean? Like I'm still talking, so I don't ever get to like rest. All I did last night, I actually went and saw Fantastic Four last night.
There you go.
So we didn't even go crazy last night. That's it. We just went and saw Fantastic Four. Also, speaking of which, be cool. Don't tell my kids that I went and saw Fantastic Four.
What are you going to do? You're going to have to act like you didn't see it? Is that
yeah, because they're definitely going to expect that I was waiting to come home and see it with them. And so just be cool. That's all I'm asking for. Be cool. I know you text with them sometimes. I know you.
Yeah, I mean, you went to Vegas without me, so we'll see. I don't know.
You think you maybe owe a little revenge, huh? All right, fair enough.
Yeah, yes, 100%, yeah.
All right, we had to do this a little bit earlier.
Do you like my new shirt, by the way? Just
What is that? What am I looking at?
We got some new Press Box merch.
Some new Press Box merch, you say? Well, I didn't get any of that.
Well, I mean, you decided to flee the state, so that's why you didn't. Came in just today.
Well, it's interesting timing how that worked out. That like everybody knew that I was leaving, but they timed the merch to arrive then. Because I could have been out here rocking the new Press Box merch.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, are we? Are we selling it, or are we?
I think we're gonna be able to give this away at certain places.
At events?
Yes, exactly right. So stay tuned for wherever we're gonna be popping up next.
Let me see that shirt again. Crabs, beer, game day. That looks great.
Beer's game day. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That looks great. Yeah. Very cool Press Box shirt. Very, very cool. All right, we had to do this a little bit earlier on because of his schedule, but an opportunity to catch up with one of our favorites, Brian Baldinger, right here on GCR. Well, we are out here in Vegas hanging out at Stadium Swim at the Circa. Our next guest has been hanging out in Owings Mills with the Baltimore Ravens for Back Together weekend, and he is, of course, one of the greats, Brian Baldinger. You know him as Baldy. He's back with us now here on GCR. Baldy, as you can tell, Vegas has gotten the best of my voice, but I appreciate you taking the time for us.
I'm all right with that. I've been to Circa. I love that hotel.
Dude.
I love the way they do things. I know the pool very well. I actually have a little bit of their money from the Super Bowl in my pocket from a couple of years ago. So there's still other days to get it back. Don't leave there without taking some of their money.
We ran into a really difficult blackjack dealer the other night. She owned us. She schooled us. But I've got all the faith in the world. The week is young.
There you go.
We got a lot of time, man. It's an amazing place. You're absolutely right. What an incredible spot this is. All right, Baldy, a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about with you. But I saw two guys that you were hyping up on Twitter. And I think I want to really know what it is that you like about these guys. One, I think we're all excited about. That's Ravens' second-round pick, Mike Green, who we all know the off-the-field stuff. But from a talent and production perspective, is there reason to believe that Mike Green could be the franchise edge rusher that it's felt like this team has missed since Terrell Suggs?
Yeah, I do. I think he's got that type of potential. I don't want to compare him to T. Sizzle right now. But he certainly was an elite prospect coming out. I spent 2 days watching him at the Senior Bowl. He literally, and it was a stacked group on the defensive line this year in Mobile. And he literally was first one in line in every single drill for the 2 days I was there. And he gave the offensive tackles, many of them, starting for NFL teams right now, fits. And then you just watch him at Marshall and, you watch him out there in practice right now with Chuck Smith. I think he's got a real chance to be a special player.
I know this is anecdotal. This isn't defined. But as we try to figure out in Baltimore, Baldy, what the difference can be in the postseason, how do the Ravens get over the hump? One thing that's been discussed is that for as good as they are at generating a rush and finding a way to get guys involved during the regular season, that in the postseason, it's maybe felt like they need someone who can just win and make those biggest plays. Do you buy into that at all? And is that something that Mike Green, again, potentially could be the difference maker for?
Well, there's truth to that statement. There's no question about it. And, as you climb the ranks in the postseason, you start in a wild card round like they did, and Pittsburgh's gone, and, you get to, Buffalo in the divisional round, you're going to see better protection. You're going to see better quarterbacks. You're going to see, better schemes. I mean, that's why they're playing in the final 8, in the Elite 8 or Final 4, where, how far you want to get. But you're going to find better and better teams. And so the better players you have, the guys that can win their one-on-ones the way Mike Green might. I mean, he's a rookie. I don't know how much you can count on rookies to make that type of impact. Mm-hmm. But they do make impacts. Jared Verse was the Defensive Rookie of the Year for the Rams, and he showed up in the postseason. So there's a place for Mike to bring his ability to dip and rip and to bend and bend the corner, some of the things that he can do, like some of the other better players in this league. You win with your stars in the postseason, and he's got star power with his ability.
He is Brian Baldinger, NFL Network. He's with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Baldy, the other guy that you brought up, another rookie, Carson Vinson, and maybe this will walk in line. I think everybody expects Andrew Voorhees is going to be the Ravens' left guard, but if there is an area on an otherwise very complete roster that there's some question about, it might be the guard position. Why are you particularly excited about Vinson, and is this a project, or is this someone that could help quickly?
I don't think he's going to help quickly. He's a fifth-round pick out of Alabama A&M. He's the only HBCU player that got drafted this year. First player in the Senior Bowl since 2022 from those type of colleges. And so, but he's got tremendous size. He's got long, all the things that you want measurably wise. They're not going to play him inside a guard. I mean, he's a tackle. And so, I like his potential and his upside. And they have to develop him. But I love Emory Jones, the third-round pick at LSU. And I know teams that had him rated higher than Will Campbell, who got taken fourth in the
Wow.
draft.
Wow.
That's just fact talking to teams, one team in particular. So, but he's out with a bad shoulder right now, so he's missing valuable time. So I don't know that you can, look to the rookie class of 3 offensive linemen that were drafted, including the 7th round pick. I don't know that you can look at those guys as plug and play at this point on July 28th.
Baldy, this is, provided health for the other 3 guys, right? Because that's critical here. For whatever concern there might be about the guard position, one of my responses is always, right, but it's the Ravens. And the Ravens and guards, they just always seem to figure it out. And so while from the outside that might be a hole, I kind of seem to have all the faith in the world that they're going to be okay there, whether it's Andrew Voorhees or, again, insert one of these names. Am I too bullish about that, or is that about right for you, given the history of the Ravens in that position?
Yeah, well, I've said for years that the Ravens replace offensive linemen the way Walmart restocks shelves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what they do. And so that's what Ozzie did. That's what Eric's doing. I have faith that they'll get a really good 5 up there. Faalele came on last year. Rosengarten played great in the second half of the season when he got his chance. Voorhees was drafted as because of his injury his rookie year to come in eventually. They replaced 3 rookies last year and led the league in rushing. So I have faith in the history of the organization and the way that they, George Warhop is a very good offensive line coach. He's hard on him. I heard him say to Carson Vincent today, full volume. Like, I don't know, don't add anything more to the sauce. All right? Like, that was his statement to him. Like, stay square. Don't add anything more to the sauce. Like, he's going to get coached hard, and that's good. That's what you got to do at this time of the year.
Baldy, I bring up, obviously, for as much as you guys are soaking up, and I'll be soaking up at training camp, with the Ravens, the story really is, can they finally get over the hump, right? Like, if they're not there, there's bigger problems. Is there anything else from a football standpoint that you think makes the difference, or is it really just getting there and performing on that day? There's no difference. There's nothing more they can overcome during the course of the season. It all comes down to, is the result different in the playoffs or not?
Yeah, look, I saw DeAndre Hopkins make a one-handed stab catch in the end zone from Lamar. Kind of got my attention. Like, maybe that type of play. They dropped the ball at the goal line last year. They could have beaten Buffalo. Look, when you get to that level against the teams that they have lost to, it's a play here and a play there. And can you make the play? Like, I don't think there's anything you can say in July that's going to make that play work in January or February. And so, they've got a very good roster. They know they do. They also know that, they've got 17 games they got to play. And thinking about it or talking about it, I don't think they're interested in talking about Super Bowls right now. They know that that's where they want to be. Lamar knows but I think he's looking to improve in ways that he doesn't even know how to improve yet. We saw tremendous leaps the last 2 years. He gives a lot of credit to T. Martin. Todd Monken's made a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
They continue to build around him with good players. Zay Flowers, that can stay healthy. And so the tight ends are, great. So, the defense, they've had pieces added. They've done everything from an organization standpoint. The coaches have been, stabilized. So it really comes down to those days on a Saturday or Sunday in January. Can you make those plays in tight ball games that win those games?
I think that's it. I think it's as simple as that, and it's not easy. And maybe limiting. It's weird, Baldy. I've had this theory, and I'm not putting it on him because, to your point, he makes a great throw to Mark Andrews, who's normally very sure-handed. Mark Andrews just doesn't catch that ball. But we did see 2 turnovers from Lamar in that game, and I just wonder if maybe part of it is we know you can be Superman. Like, we all know that you can take a bad snap and turn it into a brilliant touchdown. He did it in the regular season against the Bengals. But is there something for him to learn about discretion being the better part of valor in the postseason? And we don't need heroics maybe in these spots. You're just being Lamar. You're just good enough in this situation.
The guy threw 4 interceptions the whole year.
I know.
The ball on the ground, but He has 4 interceptions. We've never seen anything like this. I don't think if he makes a mistake, he can't think about that. You can't think about mistakes. He understands ball security, how important it is, and he's been great at that for the most part. Yeah, because of the style of play, the ball's going to get knocked out from time to time, but you can't negate the plays that he makes because of his ability, and say, okay, play safe, play scared. Like you just can't ask him to do that. That's not fair, and it's not smart. It's not smart to do that.
Real quick, you brought up DeAndre Hopkins. I want to combine him and Jair Alexander because I think a lot of the reason why there is a consensus that the Ravens have the best roster in the NFL is because they did make some moves, but there's differing opinions. Jair Alexander, obviously a lot of injuries in recent years. DeAndre Hopkins certainly isn't the vintage DeAndre Hopkins, but given what the Ravens need from those guys, that they're not even the top 2 at their respective positions, do you feel like they're in the best position to maybe get exactly what they need from those 2 particular veterans?
Well, I mean, Jair didn't practice today. He's getting his knee drained. So, it's like, I don't know, maybe that'll be it. Maybe he won't have any problems the rest of the season, but those issues are real.
Yeah.
And I think whatever you can get out of those players after the careers they've had and the injuries they have sustained can only be a bonus. If they can help them win some close games, a postseason game, then great. But I don't think you can go in there saying these are difference makers right now just because of their age and their injury history. They've got a lot of great young players and players that they need to bring along. I feel like these guys are insurance for anything else. We saw Rashad take a big step up.
Yep.
Isaiah Likely's taken a big step up. Zay is a great young player. So they've got youth on their side at key positions. Wiggins has stepped up. So if they get something from those guys, it's great. The contracts are not prohibitive. I mean, they're paying DeAndre Hopkins $4 million a year. It's like he's an insurance policy right now.
All right, so I saw you were talking to Derrick Henry the other day. Derrick Henry walks around the facility eating plain bowls of kale and spinach, like no dressing, nothing like that. He is a different human being. Could Brian Baldinger have handled the Derrick Henry diet at any point in his life?
I see no purpose to that, none. Derrick Henry is an alien. Aliens eat differently than us humans. I'm a muggle, in the world of Harry Potter, I'm a muggle. Derrick is an alien. If kale and spinach gets him 2,000 yards this year, so he can go play in the movies with Adam Sandler.
Right.
That's great. But that's not anything that I'm going to follow.
I will never question that dude. That dude, as to your point, is not like the rest of us. There is no doubt about it.
No.
Baldy, where you headed next? Where we seeing you? When we hearing you? What all can we plug for you?
I'm on 70 going somewhere right now to BWI to fly to Cleveland tonight. I'll be with the Browns tomorrow and the Steelers on Wednesday, and the Giants at the Hall of Fame game on Thursday.
Excellent.
So it's day to day, for the next 10, 11 straight days.
I know this gets the juices flowing for you. It gets the juices flowing for us just talking to you about it. Brian Baldinger, you're the best, my friend. Thank you for spending a couple of minutes with us this morning, man.
You got it. My pleasure. Anytime, guys.
That's Brian Baldinger, NFL Network, with us here on GCR. I have to apologize to everybody because some low-rent broadcasting involved there, Griffin, and when it's somebody else's fault, I'm happy to say that it's someone else's fault. When it's my own fault, it's my own fault. So we're here at Stadium Swim at the Circa in Las Vegas, and I was told, because we're starting the Stadium Swim opens at 8 o'clock every day, which is why we're doing 11:30 start time for the days that I'm here, because it gives us a chance to come in, get set up, get things ready, and do the show. So when I got here yesterday, the music is here, right? Because they're trying to create an atmosphere, a vibe. There's music, but it's not overwhelming. And then I guess that's in part because I was here. Like, they were keeping the music down.
Oh, okay.
So what happened is we recorded with Baldy yesterday afternoon. And by that point, the music was bumping. Like, bumping. This is a party. atmosphere here at Stadium Swim. There are servers. They are lovely. The pools, the whole deal. It's amazing. And I forgot that like I was doing a show. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to yell over the music. I was talking to Baldy through technology. He wasn't on the other side of Stadium Swim. So that at the start there, it didn't sound so great, and I apologize for that. That's my fault because I was not acting like a professional broadcaster. I was acting like a doofus at a pool in Las Vegas. That's what I was doing there.
Well,
so,
I mean, at least in your defense, you are a doofus at a pool.
That is true.
Las
That is
Vegas,
true. You're not
so,
wrong. Orioles draw first blood against the Blue Jays. A couple of sac flies in the first inning from Tyler O'Neill and Cedric Mullins. And they have a 2-0 advantage trying to add to it in game one of the doubleheader. And I have a wonderful view. I really don't know why I would go back. I keep trying to tell everybody, let's just say going out here in November for it's the Players Era Festival. If that wasn't on your radar that Maryland's playing in, who else is playing? Like I know they're playing Gonzaga in that event. Griffin, who else is in that field?
That's a good one.
Because I was just talking about it with John in Little Rock, who has plans to come to Vegas in November, but not that week. And now is like, dude, I'm gonna have to stop by the Circa. And yeah, you will. It's that great here, man. It is an amazing
Alabama's
place.
going to be in it again. Is that right? Or is this?
Did they win it?
Am I looking at the?
Well, do you see Maryland in it? Because
yes,
if you see
yeah,
Maryland in
yes,
it,
I
then
do see Maryland. Wow,
yes.
yeah, holy cow! I mean, it's a loaded field.
Who is it? Name the teams.
I mean, all of them. Gosh,
name them.
There's so many of them. Wow.
Okay, and they are
Houston, Kansas, Notre Dame, Iowa State, St. John, Syracuse, Oregon, Auburn, Baylor, Creighton, Rutgers, Tennessee, Bama, Gonzaga, Michigan, San Diego State, and then Maryland's first game is against UNLV. That'll be tipping off at midnight Eastern.
Right. So that's another argument for coming out here is that, like, you really want to watch the game at midnight? Like, is that really something that you want to do back home?
And then, Maryland's second game, will be against Gonzaga, yeah.
And then I think that their third game is based on, like, what happens. I'm not sure how they do that with the big field.
On the women's side, also will be Texas, UCLA, Duke, and South Carolina. So
is that at the same time, the women's tournament?
That is that one starts. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
From,
all right.
Theirs is the 26th and 27th. The men's runs from the 24th to the 27th.
So an awesome opportunity to come out here to check out the new look. I know they're going to open the season in Baltimore against Coppin State, so that'll be the first chance that you'll get. They just announced they're not the full non-conference schedule yesterday. Maryland basketball did. So lots of great opportunities to go. But this is so unique and so cool, and there's so many good teams participating in it. And I was not aware, Aaron had to explain that to me, that apparently Thanksgiving week out here, that's the reason why they do these things, is because Thanksgiving week is not a popular week to be in Vegas.
Interesting.
Because people go to see their families.
Yeah. Why would they do that?
So it's a chance to maybe make a slightly more affordable Vegas trip and watch a couple of Maryland basketball games, see some of the other great teams, and then come over here to a place like the Circa and hang out in the pool. And if you stick around at Stadium Swim, if you stick around for the week, let's just say maybe you're not as hell-bent about doing Thanksgiving with the family, and maybe you want to stay through Thanksgiving, you could watch the football games from here at Stadium Swim at the Circa.
That sounds nice.
I can't do that. If I come, I'm gonna have to leave on Wednesday and be home in time for Thanksgiving with the family. But dude, everything about that sounds phenomenal. Yeah, Maryland's non-conference basketball schedule. They will open the season in Baltimore at CFG Bank Arena against Coppin State in the Hall of Fame event on November 3rd. Home games against Georgetown, Alcorn State, Mount St. Mary's, Wagner, Old Dominion, and then 2 true road games in non-conference play at Marquette on November 15th and at Virginia on December 20th. And then, of course, they will participate in the Players Era tournament out here in Las Vegas, where, as Griffin said, we know they're playing UNLV and Gonzaga. We don't know who the third game will be against. So that's the slate for Maryland basketball in the non-conference portion of the schedule. Whew, I am barely holding up. I am barely getting through. Today is not going to be a day that we're going to go long. Today is going to be a day that I get out while the getting's good. I just found out that I'm going to be appearing on VEASAN tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Well, I'm regulars, but I've never been in studio actually for VEASAN, so I'm looking forward to that.
Is it going to be more pressure?
But I would really like if my voice sounded, with no respect, you all. It's like when I say if I go home after going to the gym, my family can deal with the smell, right? Like they're my family. They're stuck with me.
That poor family.
In the same way, you guys are family to me. So I think you guys can deal with my voice sounding like this. Like you accept it. You're just here for the high quality content and sex appeal. Like I understand you're wondering if I'm going to recreate the butt sculpture from downstairs. And the answer is front the stake for our Survivor team, then yes, I will do it. But without that, I might choose not to. I might choose to go ahead and say no to that thought process. I should really do that for something better, like a charity. If you guys donate, what do we want to raise this year? If you guys raise $4,000 for helping out Mission, Griffin and I, and who else can we put in this?
What do I have to do?
We're gonna recreate the legendary butts.
Jeremy will do it.
Jeremy will do it 100%.
John Colson said he'd do it.
John Colson is in.
Yep.
We will recreate. We'll get Gary Stein's done sexy pictures for us before.
Yes. Oh wow.
But no, we only put them up. The rule is we can only put them up for one day.
Gotcha.
For Gary Stein. Gotcha. But we recreated the boudoir, the famous George Costanza boudoir photo. We did that when he lost a bet once.
Well, we know.
So
we know Stan would do it, and he would leave it up forever.
Right, we could do that. I'm just saying we can do a Boys of Press Box recreation of the butt sculpture here at the Circa if you guys collectively donate $4,000 to Helping Up Mission this year. So,
wow, challenge
laid out.
That is
right. Challenge laid out.
I mean, I guess we'd have. I mean, yeah, we'll pay up.
You're telling me you wouldn't be a part of that for doing something incredible for charity, Griffin?
No, I'm saying I will. Yeah, like I'm
that's
saying,
what I'm
yeah,
talking
like,
about.
yes, like that's when we can. That's when we can
good,
for sure pay up.
Good man.
If the
good
folks,
man.
If the people want to see it, then we'll do it.
Good man. Oh, people will definitely want to see that. Are you kidding me? Who wouldn't want to see that? Today's show also brought to you by the Maryland 5-Star. Maryland5star.us is the website. Get your tickets now. It's back this October at Fair Hill in Cecil County. We love the Maryland 5-Star. It's not just the Triple Crown of equestrian events. It's also just an incredible celebration of the fall in the state of Maryland. Get your tickets right now. Enjoy the Corgi Cup. Enjoy the Food and Wine Festival. The incredible shopping experience. It's an amazing time. If you don't know equestrian, encourage you to go out on Saturday, see the racing part. But I've been there for show jumping. I've been there for dressage. It's amazing watching these horses and these athletes. So get your tickets right now. Maryland 5-Star with a number 5. Maryland5star.us. One more segment to go here on a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses make golf fun and affordable. All 5 local courses, Pine Ridge, Mount Pleasant, Forest Park, Carroll Park, and Clifton Park, are challenging and fun for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time today at classic5golf.com.
Summer just got a whole lot merrier at Live Casino. Win your share of $30,000 during Christmas in July. Earn entries starting July 1st. Dash in on Saturday, July 26th to be one of 50 winners to unwrap top-of-the-line electronics, home appliances, free play, and other great gifts. Go all in on good cheer at Live Casino. At Erindale Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, we celebrate the first ever Baltimore basketball player to reach the Naismith Hall of Fame as we talk to those who knew Carmelo Anthony best about how his Baltimore upbringing shaped his legendary career. Also inside, Bo Smoke profiles Ravens second-round pick Mike Green and find our annual summer travel section with information on some of the best sporting events and activities in Maryland that your family can check out all summer long. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here. Griffin didn't like how my mic sounded. So, Griffin, I've got both mics here. You tell me which one sounds better. Do you like how this sounds? Do you like
the thing is,
do you like how this sounds? Do you like? I don't like how this sounds.
We're having some sort of issue with the way it's being sent out. So I hear you fine. However, we're having a very slight echo over YouTube. And
that would suggest that it might be related to the board.
Yeah. Well, because it sounded perfect, though, for the first hour, so that's why I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Well, I don't understand that at all. I have no answer to that whatsoever. All right, well, our apologies. We'll work on that. Griffin will be here until 7 o'clock tonight, solving that problem and fixing that somehow, some way. In the meantime, we are beginning to wind down for a Tuesday edition of the program. Safe home, Ryan Sandberg. Just a steady, it's a great player from my childhood. Like someone that, we talk a lot about how baseball is a regional sport, and few players truly transcend, and that's not new. Like maybe it's become more regionalized in recent years, but it's always kind of been the case. There are a handful of players that transcend, and then there's kind of like everybody else. And Ryan Sandberg was a Hall of Fame player that was never really a transcendent figure within the sport. He was just a damn good baseball player who was truly beloved in Chicago, but at a time where the Cubs were not very good. They just didn't win anything, as we all remember. And so without, having legendary postseason moments, anything like that, Ryan Sandberg never became a larger-than-life type of baseball figure, which in that way is truly a shame, because he was a damn good player, and by all accounts, and I don't know that I ever had an interaction with him. I might be forgetting of something, because I was regularly doing things with the Cubs in Arizona when they had spring training, but I did a lot with Ron Santo. I remember that before he passed away, and I told my Ferguson Jenkins stories a lot. I don't remember, obviously, a lot with Mark Grace, but I don't remember. I think I might have met him once, but I don't remember really having any interactions. But everyone would rave about what a wonderful, wonderful person Ryan Sandberg was. So, that's all I got for you. Safe home, Ryan Sandberg, hell of a baseball player, and just a very sad story for someone still way too young for Ryan Sandberg to be passing away. I spoke to a lot of people here in Vegas about the Emmanuel Clase story from yesterday. And again, a place where we need to use allegedly about Tim Barbalace coming off the show and being like, yeah, the Backstreet Boys were all doing a bunch of cocaine. I'm like, dude, what?
Maybe he had, maybe he had a strong source and he knew. He knew.
You just got to use words.
Do you think the Backstreet Boys are going to come after Tim? And
I don't know, man, but they better not come after me. I could not be a bigger fan. Hello, Howie and AJ
and maybe
and Kevin.
the day and age that we're in, it would only help somehow. They would get more popular from everyone knowing that they're on cocaine.
Whoa. You better start saying other things too. Allegedly.
That was all. Obviously, that was all.
Allegedly. Anyway, yeah. So the Emmanuel Clase story, and this is an important thing. Like, one of the things that was pointed out to me by someone here at the Circa was, and I told you yesterday, I have no patience for the. This is what happens because the pro sports leagues and the teams are now getting in bed with the gambling companies. I have no patience for that. Emmanuel Clase, Luis Ortiz, anyone who allegedly or factually, who was it? Terry Rozier.
Yeah, there's a lot of NBA guys now.
Are there?
Well, I mean, on top of that Porter kid. And
Jonte. Jonte Porter, right?
Yes, Jonte Porter, and then you add in Terry Rozier. It feels like there's. I mean,
anyone
multiple seems like a lot
involved in any sport who is doing anything like this, that's on them. That's not anyone's fault but their own. Period. The point that was made by a few people that I spoke to here at the Circa was there were stories. Remember famously the Arizona State basketball point shaving scandal, right? There were lots of stories of hinky things that had occurred over the years related to sports betting. The difference was there was far less governance of it. And oftentimes, we never knew. There were oddities. Someone might put a large bet down, but it was really hard to track any relationship between that large bet and whether there was a connection with an athlete involved. Now, because of the insane amount of regulation involved with sports betting, as there should be, because of that, when you do see something that's a little strange, if the story really is, and I don't know, do we get any more confirmation about whether it was related to this one spike pitch that you pointed out yesterday?
No, I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any confirmation, but people have been pulling. So maybe this could help them, but people have been pulling. They've been compiling more clips of Clase. First pitch of the inning, he just spikes it right into the dirt, and so it is interesting that it's happened. Like Luis Ortiz, it was like very clear those two pitches. With Clase, there's like a lot of different examples.
So the suggestion is now maybe that Clase just has a tendency to.
That's one suggestion. Or I mean I haven't seen any reports of anyone saying, oh, this pitch on June 12th was saw a lot of action.
But the point is that because of the insane amount of regulation, all of these abnormalities are deeply investigated. Anything that comes up that looks odd, there is deep investigation into that. And so for example, let's just say hypothetically that the story is that Emmanuel Clase has a tendency to spike a pitch when he comes in for whatever reason. Adrenaline, getting ramped up, the velocity, he just throws the ball into the ground. If that's the case, maybe a group of bettors or a bettor knew that tendency and just decided to throw down an insane amount of money on one particular pitch because they got tipped off
like
of that.
He's pitched back to back, this is his third start, something
right?
Not third
now,
start, but yeah.
If that's the case, you would think they'd be able to investigate that quickly and they wouldn't suspend Emmanuel or put him on leave for a month over it. I don't know, right? But the point that they're making is that while you want to blame the involvement between sports betting entities and the teams and the leagues, the truth is betting is going to exist in some form or fashion. It's better to have it exist in this way because of the regulation that comes with it, because it allows for us to find out instances. Is this the one you showed me yesterday?
This is a different one. There's gonna be a couple that play that are all like it's all
that's
bases
more,
empty.
That's
start
more
of
just
the
a ball.
inning.
That's more just
But,
none of these are spikes.
But these are just everyone compiling different. Like he typically misses the strike zone first pitch of the inning. So,
okay,
yeah.
So that could be. It would make a lot of sense that maybe people would put in large first pitch ball bets. Then perhaps, I don't know. But again, it would seem like we wouldn't be in the position that we're in if not for them already doing an amount of investigation and feeling like perhaps there's something going on here. It just feels really unlikely that they would go right to this. One of the best pitchers in baseball can't pitch for a month without
in the playoff race.
Yeah, without feeling like they've got a little bit more going on. I don't know. But yeah, it's an interesting point, which is that because of the existence, because of the relationships between the leagues and the teams and these sports betting entities, you get lots more regulation that comes with it. And that's how we find out stories like this, and that's how we get to the bottom of it. Is it more prevalent? Is it more common because of the popularity of sports betting? Probably. I've definitely done more sports betting since it's been legalized than I did before. But I did some sports betting before it was legalized, for sure. It's a complicated conversation. I just don't have any patience for this is the fault of, nah, dude. No. Like, I mean, I get it. It makes for fun snark on the internet. Like, the people that tweet out, breaking news, Emmanuel Clase being investigated for sports betting. This sports update brought to you by Bet Kings. I get that. Yeah, use the code Clase. Right. I get the snark there, but it needs to end at snark and not pretend like that's the reason why this stuff happens and that these aren't adults that make decisions. Is there anything else that I wanted to cover today? I feel like that's about it. I want to cover not throwing the ball away and letting runs score. That would be preferable. It's 2-1 now as the Blue Jays get one back. Terrible throw.
Yeah, that was not even close.
Not even in the neighborhood. All right, let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Columbia, and Frederick. I've been taking peptides for a couple of months now, and I have felt younger. I have felt a little bit more spunk, a little bit more life, just not quite as run down. I went over and got a complimentary testosterone test at Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills. I found out I wasn't low T. That was good news, but what it led to was like, but I still feel the way that I feel. What do I do? And that was when they suggested peptide treatment, and that's been great for me. 443-264-4454. It's not just, low T. It's not just feeling run down. If you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, if you've had trouble taking off stubborn belly fat, whatever it is that you've been dealing with, men of a certain age deal with this stuff, man. It's just part of getting into your 40s or older, and you don't want to talk about it with your buddies. You don't want to, just be out at the bar and be like, hey, guys, I don't feel like a man. It's just not the way that it goes. So Game Day Men's Health is a safe space for you to be able to discuss these issues, and that's the reason why it exists. 443-264-4454 for Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills. As I mentioned, there's a location in Columbia, 443-266-3505, or out west, Game Day Men's Health in Frederick. You can give them a call, 240-931-3717.
More and more MLB draft picks are signing. I think almost all of them, but one of the big ones, or one of that just because I thought it was a funny tidbit or an interesting tidbit, is so the Rays signed an undrafted free agent, Trace Phillips, a right-handed pitcher, for $629,000 to a $629,000 deal. And that is the second highest deal ever for an undrafted free agent in MLB history. So the Rays signing that pitcher. Any idea who might have been the largest undrafted free agent signing? It was back in 2016 by the Reds. You're not gonna get it. I just wanted. I just wanted
okay.
to throw this in.
Then who was it?
It was T.J. Friedel. Got $732,000 for
I had no idea.
to sign with the Reds as an undrafted free agent back in 2016. So
what was the story on that?
I don't know. I guess T.J. Well, I guess. So the pitcher that the Rays signed yesterday was like a top 200 prospect, draft prospect coming in, and for some reason I don't know what the reasons were that no one drafted him, but he didn't, and the Rays scoop him up and gave him a drafted free agent, second highest ever behind T.J. Friedel. So I just thought that was interesting, so I wanted to share it. And then we did just talk about Ryan Sandberg. The fun stat I saw was that there are only 14 players in Major League Baseball history with 250 home runs, 300 stolen bases, 1,000 RBI. Ryan Sandberg was
250 home runs,
300
stolen bases.
1,000
How many 1,000 RBI?
1,000 RBI. Ryan Sandberg is one of them.
Derek Jeter.
Jeter is on that list, yeah.
Roberto Alomar.
Not Roberto Alomar.
I wonder where he comes up short. Wade Boggs.
Don't think Wade Boggs was on the list. No Wade Boggs.
How about George Brett?
No George Brett either.
I'm thinking for a specific type of player. Maybe I need to broaden my. What about
Roberto Alomar? Only had 210 home runs, by the way.
Who did?
Alomar only had 210 home runs. Yeah.
Yeah, going for hitters, thinking they would have run in 250 home runs. Paul Molitor?
No Molitor.
All right, let me try going a different way. Let me try Willie Mays.
Willie Mays, yes, is on the list.
Let me try Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds is on the list. Over 500
stolen bases. Now I'm leaning into power hitters that stole bases, right? How many more are there?
You added Mays and Bonds and Sam. 10 more. There's two that are going to be really tough. There's two that are really tough, so I'd like you to get 8 more.
I'm going to get 8 more. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ken Griffey.
No Griff.
Yeah, not a big stolen base guy. Joe Morgan.
Joe Morgan is on the list.
How about Andre Dawson?
Andre Dawson is on the list. 314 steals, his lowest.
It's going to sound weird for a first baseman, but I feel like I remember. Did Jeff Bagwell steal some bases early on in his career?
I think he did, but he is not on this list.
God. I'll try Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson is on the list, yes. 260 home runs, I think, for Ricky.
How about Craig
297, yeah, he cleared it pretty easily.
How about Craig Biggio?
Biggio is on the list.
How about A-Rod?
A-Rod is on the list. 329 stolen bases for A-Rod.
Carlos Beltran?
Carlos Beltran is on the list. 312.
I don't know how many I have.
10. So 2 more that you should get.
2 more that I should get.
Yeah. Well, one of them's tough, but there's 2 more that you can definitely get. They both have the first name. They both have the same first name.
They both have the same first name.
Which I don't know if that helps or not.
I don't know that it helps at all. Does that name start with a consonant or a vowel?
I feel like that's too much. A consonant.
No, dude. It's come on, man. A consonant.
Yes.
Do their names start with a C?
No.
A J?
No.
A D?
No.
A B?
Yeah.
It's B?
It is a B.
Bobby Bonds.
Bobby Bonds is one of them. The 250 home runs, 300 stolen bases, 1,000 RBI club. Only 14 players, Ryan Sandberg being one of them. But yes, Bobby Bonds. And then there's another Bobby.
Another Bobby?
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Bonilla?
Not Bobby Bonilla.
Bobby Bobby Abreu?
Bobby Abreu, yes.
Really?
Yeah, Bobby Abreu had 288 home runs, 400
You
steals.
know, Stan can't. Someone screaming.
I know.
Put him in the Hall of
It's
Fame.
making me think. Maybe so.
Right?
There are two other guys.
Right?
Well, Beltran is not in the Hall of Fame just yet. But yeah, him
Not
and Abreu
yet.
both on the ballot. Two guys not in the Hall of Fame that I think would be tough for you to get. One guy was a Cincinnati Red, Vada Pinson.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's a hell of a player.
And then a guy that started his career with the Orioles, who won a World Series with the D-backs in 2001.
Steve Finley?
Steve Finley. Yep, Steve Finley is on this list.
Steve Finley was a damn good player, man. Like, not a Hall of Famer, but a damn good player. Did you see this one? Hang on, let me see if I have the official number. This was posted by Orioles Statistics that Cedric Mullins is now one stolen base away from his fifth 15-15 season with the Orioles. Only one man has more. That would be...
I think I did see it. That was...
Don't.
It was one of the guys from yesterday. It was Brady Anderson.
All right, and then there are 3 Orioles that have had multiple 15-15 seasons.
Paul Blair.
Yes.
So 3 Orioles have had multiple, including or out plus Mullins.
Plus Mullins, yeah.
Okay. So Blair, Brady, Mullins. So there's 2 others.
Yes.
Multiple 15-15 seasons. Yeah, because we kind of established that Adam Jones didn't really steal all that many.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's Adam Jones.
Adam Jones had one such season in 2012.
Yeah. Did Miguel Tejada ever steal?
No, Miguel Tejada is not on this list.
Okay.
Never had one.
Multiple seasons of 15-15. Manny
Machado had one.
Oh man.
2015. Come on, rapid fire.
Why? Where do you have to be? We could go with Kenny Singleton.
Ken Singleton is not on the list.
Darn it. I didn't guess him.
All right, move on. It was Don Buford.
Cal Ripken.
No, Cal Ripken never had 15-15. Don Buford had 3. Brian Roberts had 2.
Oh, Brian Roberts. I should have got
Brian Roberts had 2. The others that had 1, Gunnar, Jonathan VR, Manny Adam, Nick Markakis, Corey Patterson. Nick Markakis, who is a first-year eligible on the Hall of Fame ballot next year.
Former Orioles, right? Yeah. Chris Davis, Nick Markakis.
Yep.
There was one other.
Was there?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I mean, he's not going to get in, but yeah, it's Matt Wieters.
Matt Wieters, there you go. Corey Patterson, Melvin Mora, Albert Bell, Jeffrey Hammonds, Robbie Alomar, Mike Devereaux, Reggie Jackson, Don Baylor, and Bobby Grich all had one 15-15 season. All right, let's get tubular.
Okay, everybody, it's going to be quick today.
What was the main focus today, Coach?
Fundamentals, ball control. It's always huge.
Any early thoughts on the competition this year?
Well, look, this is the best of the best players in the world. It's going to be an amazing tournament.
Tournament?
Yeah, the BMW Championship at Caves Valley. What are you guys talking about? All they ever ask me about is football.
All right, here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise. Obviously, right now, Game 1 of the doubleheader between the Orioles and Blue Jays. Orioles in front 2-1, threatening again with the bases loaded in the third. As Charlie Morton on the mound for Game 1 against Easton Lucas. Although they were already, Lucas is still in there, but they were already warming somebody up in the bullpen. My God, imagine trying to get through a doubleheader if you pull your starter in
I like the idea though. Oh, you must be ahead of me. Something happened.
No, they're coming out to check on Ramon Arias. That game is also on MLB Network in the rest of the country, and then
I like
later
the
on.
strategy from Toronto though. Just hey, we need someone to try to get innings. Let's throw a lefty against the Orioles, and
it is a good strategy. You're not wrong about that. Game 2, 6:35 on Masson, Brandon Young, and Eric Lauer in that pitching matchup. Everything else, baseball-wise, Masson 2, Nationals, Astros at 8:10, TBS, Rays, Yankees, 7:05, MLB Network, Mets, Padres, 9:40, Sky Mystics tonight at 7:30 on Monumental. NBA TV Aces Sparks at 10. The second Copa semifinal, Brazil and Uruguay at 8 o'clock. So is there still debate about who might win our contest, Griffin?
Correct. Yes, there is. So Little Rock, Old John and Little Rock just moved into first yesterday with a big win. I guess was it an upset? I think it was an upset. Colombia knocking off Argentina yesterday. So I don't know if on the women's side if that was an upset or not, but it was a big win for Colombia over Argentina. So that moved John and Little Rock. He jumped Nick Kelly. So he is in first place with a 1-point lead over Nick. And Nick had Argentina. Yeah, so Nick can't score.
Well, who has Brazil and Uruguay?
You have Uruguay.
So could I still win if Uruguay wins?
You were down by 14 though.
That seems unlikely. There's 14 points left between these two rounds.
I don't think you can. I think the bonus points go up per round. John and Little Rock got 12 bonus points for Colombia winning.
Oh, well then I still have a chance.
Maybe, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Uruguay can still win 2 matches, so I'm still alive here. Oh, that's good news.
Brazil is owned by.
But that would, it would take a miracle. Brazil is quite clearly the team to beat. So is Kyle still alive then?
Kyle only has 13 points, so he's down by 18. So.
Well, but if you get 12 for winning in this round, and then they win both rounds.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I would think that. All right, there you go. Brazil Uruguay tonight at 8 on FS1. It's the CW network for WWE NXT tonight at 8. Anything non-sports that stands out?
Let's see. Not a ton. Sam Rockwell and Allison Brie will be on Fallon.
Okay. They are plugging the Orioles Blue Jays doubleheader.
Why? Why would they be
doing
that? It'll be after the doubleheader as well. It'll be
if you missed any of it, yeah, correct. They're going to recap it and let you know what happened in the Orioles Blue Jays doubleheader.
The Trainwreck docuseries finally comes to a close. Storm Area 51 is the finale on Netflix of the Trainwreck docuseries that they've been doing all summer. This one actually kind of looks good. The WWE Unreal.
No, it doesn't.
No,
it looks very stupid.
It looks like Hard Knocks. It's WWE
awful.
Hard Knocks.
No, that's not. It's fake. It's
more.
They want you to think
cable.
that's what it is. It ain't that. Trust me.
For the first time ever, step into the WWE writers' room.
Stop it.
That seems like that's for first time ever. That seems like a big deal. That seems like a big deal to me. We're getting a Welcome to Wrexham ripoff Running with the Wolves on ESPN. So Kelly Ripa, they own, what team do they own? Some Italian club named the Wolves. Running with the Wolves is on ESPN. So this is gonna be the first of a couple of these Wrexham like documentaries because Tom Brady has his coming out on Friday on Prime Video.
They actually, the Tom Brady one, they were shooting at the same time. In this season of Welcome to Wrexham, they do like a crossover with the Tom Brady show.
Yeah, and they fight each other. Tom
yes,
Brady
exactly.
and
Sharks
Rob
and Jets.
McElhenney and
dance off.
They fight.
Yes.
And that's it. Yeah, those are highlights, non-sports wise.
All right, very good. Thanks today to Gabe Lacques from USA Today. Thanks also to Brian Baldinger as well as Tim Barbalace. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the.
Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler alive.
Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Back here at the Circa tomorrow. Maybe a special guest stopping by tomorrow, but I don't have that confirmed yet, so I'm not going to say anything. Do we have anything otherwise, or just stuffing things tomorrow?
Just stuffing things right now.
All right, that's what we're good at. That's
we're
what
gonna
we're
talk about
good
an Orioles sweeping a doubleheader, I guess, and start booking our World Series tickets.
All right. Sure. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, Game Day Men's Health, County Sports Zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to the Maryland 5-Star, Costas Inn, BMW Championship, Maryland Sports, Easy Pass, Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses, helpmygamblingproblem.org, Crown Trophy as well. Thanks to Griffin, at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Tuesday evening. Go Birds, Duke sucks. I should have taken the sack flies prop.